The table was perfectly level, but the marbles kept rolling in the same direction. The casino manager was terrified when he saw this. Since everything was laid out flat, it could mean the entire building was tilted. The manager had to take defensive measures to ensure the marbles couldn't reach the final prize entrance. So, the manager had to adjust the game machine to tilt forward. In order to win the 700 million prize, Mark actually made the building tilt. It tilted in the exact opposite direction of the machine's tilt. But how did Mark manage to tilt the building? It's truly unbelievable. For tall buildings like this, in order to tilt the entire building, you need a construction team and heavy machinery. It's impossible to do it alone. Mark even consulted the construction team's master and discovered a shocking secret. The building was constructed on sinking ground, and part of the surrounding ground had already started to collapse. In the next moment, Mark came up with a plan. To achieve his goal, he needed to secretly hide something weighing 20 tons in a corner. This would gradually tilt the building, but hiding 20 tons of weight would draw attention, especially in the casino's building. So, Mark decided to use water as a substitute. He carefully observed the building and noticed that there were several empty rooms. They just needed to prepare 10 2-ton water barrels. In a few hours, they could fill all the barrels, and even if the casino noticed, they wouldn't detect anything. The water would also help avoid the casino's periodic ground checks. But the manager was panicking, and the tilt angle of the gaming area had been adjusted to its maximum. Yet, it still didn't affect the trajectory of the marbles. If the disc was tilted forward, this situation shouldn't have been possible. After losing balance, the marbles should have rolled outward.
マックスでもダメ。まずい。こんな状態で3段目に行ったらまたトロトロと。ダメだ。それだけは。
Just then, the manager had a sudden realization. Although the tilt angle was manipulated by Mark, he could turn the tables and use it to counter the machine's tilt, since it wasn't possible to adjust the building's angle back. If the tilt continued like this, the machine would lose balance again. But if the disc tilted backward, it would be much harder for the marbles to enter the first two layers. The manager pressed the remote control, and his subordinates quickly stopped him. If they changed the machine's angle now, the chances of winning on the third layer would increase. If the marbles successfully reached the third layer, they would likely clear the game in one go. The manager had already anticipated this situation. Of course, the defenses of the third layer wouldn't be so simple. The manager still had his ultimate trump card.
あれがあったな。2、3年前試作した装置があったろう。試しに使ったらその守りがあまりに露骨。不自然なので封印した装置が。それを使おう。
He immediately ordered his subordinates to fetch the tools. Meanwhile, the audience inside was becoming excited. Two marbles had entered the hole at the same time. The manager began to think deeply. It had been a long journey for him to become the manager. He had once even scrubbed toilets to satisfy the president's every whim. And this president was quite perverted, treating the manager like an obedient dog. The manager had silently endured it all, just to reach his current position. But the president was often unpredictable, constantly humiliating him, and making him play ridiculous games. The manager had one goal. He wanted to inherit the billions of assets and immense power. Once the president died, as long as he could get